you or speak with you, or have you learned anything about this case between the time we separated this morning for our lunch break and got back together just now?
No, ma'am.
Thank you very much. State wish to call a witness.
Yes, state would call Bradley Prime.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Right this way, sir.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Please state your name and spell your first and last name for the record.
Special Agent Bradley Freimuth. Last name is spelled F-R-E-I-M-U-T-H.
How are you employed?
I'm a special agent with the United States Drug Enforcement Administration.
And how long have you served in law enforcement?
All total, approximately 7.5 years.
Can you describe your background in law enforcement?
Yes, I worked here at the Highlands County Sheriff's Office for approximately 6 years, 2 years patrol, 1 year general crimes detective, 3 years narcotics, and I was also on the SWAT team for approximately 4.5 years before coming to DEA.
And directing your attention to January 23rd of 2019, were you working for the Highlands County Sheriff's Office at that time?
I was.
And at that time, what was your assignment?
I was a detective, general crimes detective in CIU, the Criminal Investigations Unit, and also a member of the SWAT team.
What is the role of the SWAT team?
Generally speaking, responding to all types of emergencies that are deemed too complex or dangerous for normal deputies to handle. Barricaded shooters, hostage situations, vehicle interdictions.
Now, directing your attention to January 23rd of 2019, were you activated on that date?
I was.
And in what capacity?
As a SWAT operator, mid-shift, I was working as a detective in CIU, got a SWAT page and responded.
And where did you respond to?
I responded to the SunTrust Bank here.
And when you arrived on scene, what role were you assigned?
Initially, I was assigned the role of a rescue team, so I was to stage outside of the entrance to the bank, and if any of the members of the assault team were injured, myself and another deputy on the SWAT team, Deputy Proctor, would enter the bank and retrieve the casualty, bring him out of the bank. However, once the assault element made entry into the bank, Lieutenant Gunner, the assault element leader, made the determination that more personnel were required, so I was reassigned to the assault element.
Okay. I want to talk about the process of making entry into the bank. Can you describe that process for the jury?
Yes, upon arriving on scene, the assault element leader, Lieutenant Gunner, briefed me on his plan. The plan was to attach chains to the front of the MRAP, or armored vehicle, and attach the other end to the doors, the handles on the glass doors, and use the MRAP to pull the doors out of the side of the wall there. And the contingency plan, if that failed for whatever reason, was to simply ram the doors with the MRAP. The entry was unsuccessful initially because the chains just pulled the handles off the door and the doors remained in place and locked. So the contingency plan was enacted. Deputy Gunthorpe, the driver of the MRAP, ran the doors, backed up, and we made entry through the opening.
Okay. And did you make entry into the bank?
I did.
Can you describe what you observed as you made entry into the bank?
Yes, after I made entry, I saw that the interior of the bank was roughly in a horseshoe shape with a long hallway on the running north and south on the west side of the building, so to your right as you make entry. Then the lobby to the left and front, and another hallway on the opposite side of the bank. Half of the team behind a couple of shields plugged the hallway, we say, so set up in that hallway nearest us on the west side, maintaining lethal cover and observation down the hallway, while the rest of the team, including myself, made entry and went to the left to the north side of the bank and began clearing the offices successively along the north side of the bank. As I made that clockwise clearance through the bank, I saw to my right the bodies of 5 apparently female Caucasian victims laying prone on their bellies with the tops of their heads pointing toward a wall or the door of a bathroom. I saw visible entry wounds, gunshot wounds to the backs, and in some cases, I believe, heads of some of the victims as I cleared clockwise across the bank.
Now, when law enforcement and the SWAT team made entry into the bank, were you operating with limited information about what was going on inside?
I was. The initial page, I believe, just said barricade shooter, very generic. When I got on scene, I was briefed by Lieutenant Gunner as to the general situation there. I was briefed that a barricaded shooter had called into dispatch, said that he just shot 5 people and was planning on committing suicide. So that was the situation as far as we knew at that point.
Okay. Now, being that it's a bank, were there a lot of offices, a lot of objects that someone could be hiding behind?
There were, I don't remember exactly how many, but multiple offices arrayed along the north side of the building. And then, like I said, 2 hallways on the west and east sides of the bank, running north and south with multiple offices down each hallway.
And did it take some time to clear and secure the lobby of the bank and the offices?
It did. I don't know exactly how long, 5 to 10 minutes, I would say.
Now, as you progressed through the lobby and you observed the 5 victims lying on the ground, were you able to observe any visible signs of life?
No, I could not see that they were moving or breathing.
Now, while inside the bank, did you learn that the suspect wished to surrender to law enforcement?
Yes, as we were clearing the bank, we were in constant radio contact with the SWAT commander, Captain Johnson, who was relaying information he was receiving from the incident commander, Chief Hoagland, and the CNT crisis negotiation team. And he told us that initially the shooter said that he was about to shoot himself, and he changed his mind and said that he was not, he was going to surrender. And then he said he was going to shoot himself again, back and forth like that.
Now, eventually, did the suspect come out of wherever he had been hiding, and was he able to be taken into custody without incident?
He was. The element behind the shields who were holding long cover and observation down the west hallway identified that the shooter was in one of those offices because the robot operator, Deputy Pratz, had used the robot to more or less visually clear several of the offices down the hallway and then identified that the shooter was in one of those offices. So once we identified which office he was in, Lieutenant Gunner began issuing verbal commands to the suspect. Told him to take off his body armor, leave his weapons in the office, come out unarmed with his hands above his head. He complied. Once he entered the hallway, Lieutenant Gunner told him to slowly walk toward him with his hands raised, then to lift his shirt to expose his waistband and turn in place, and then kneel. And the shooter complied with all of those instructions.
And was he able to comply with all of those very specific commands?
To the greatest extent of my knowledge, he complied fully and immediately with all the commands.
Now, once the suspect was taken into custody, the shooter was taken into custody, did you turn your attention to the victims?
I did. Once we were notified that the shooter was taken into custody on the opposite side of the bank from me, I was on the east side of the bank at that point. Lieutenant Gunner ordered me to change position, move to where the deceased hostages were, and check their vitals to confirm that they were or were not deceased.
And as far as your assessment of their vitals, did EMS also become involved?
They did. I checked the radial pulses of all 5 of the victims. 4 of the 5 were cold to the touch, had no detectable pulse whatsoever, were not breathing. The lady in the middle, the third from the left, I believed at the time that I felt a faint radial pulse, very faint. So I let Lieutenant Gunner know that, and he requested that our team medics, Medic Richardson and Medic Langston, both paramedics and SWAT medics, enter the bank and do a more thorough assessment and render aid. A couple minutes, well, a few seconds later, Highlands County EMS regular paramedics as well as our 2 team medics entered the bank, did a more thorough assessment, and determined that I was either incorrect or that she had expired in the few seconds it took him to get there.
In the end, were you able to determine that all 5 women were deceased?
I was. They were all deceased.
Other than the shooter, was anyone else located inside the bank that was still alive?
No. We learned later that an individual had run out the back, supposedly, one of the employees, but by the time we got there, there were no other persons in the bank.
Thank you. Attend to the witness.
Good afternoon.
Good.
So, as you're in the bank and you're getting the instructions through your radios and things like that, at some point then it became apparent to you that Mr. Xavier, the suspect, was going to be coming out of the back office towards you all, correct?
That's right.
Okay. And Mr. Xavier was complying with the commands that were being given to him?
He was compliant.
Okay. And he walked slowly out from the back office, right?
He did.
And he came down the hallway
Correct.
towards where you all were stationed in sort of the lobby area, correct?
Yes, at that point, the assault team had basically broken up into 2 elements. One responsible for holding security and controlling the suspect on that side of the bank, and the other half, of which I was a part, were responsible for clearing the other half, the eastern half.
And as Mr. Xavier was walking out towards you all, he was told to walk backwards at one point, correct?
I believe so. That's what I was told. I didn't see it myself.
Okay, but he did turn around and was coming out in the backwards?
To the greatest extent of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And Mr. Xavier was told to get his hands up high, correct?
He was.
And he complied with that as well?
He did.
And he was ordered to kind of hold his shirt up a little bit to expose his waistband?
Correct.
And he complied with that as well?
He did.
And when he came out from that back office, Mr. Xavier was not wearing any sort of body armor, correct?
Correct. I was told he had removed his body armor per the instructions.
And he certainly did not have a firearm in his hands
He did not.
or anywhere else on his person.
No.
Mr. Xavier, as he walked out and got to the area where the deputy giving the commands wanted him to be, Gunter wanted him to be, he was ordered to then slowly kneel down to the ground, correct?
Correct.
And he complied with that order as well, correct?
He did.
Okay. Now, did you at any point, you mentioned that the person had run out the back door, right?
I heard after the fact, hours later, I believe, that somebody had, yes.
Now, as part of the SWAT team, did you at any point go around the bank and see if that door that the person ran out was actually open?
Oh, no. Per our SOP, whenever we respond to an operation involving securing a structure, there is something called a perimeter team. Ideally, that is also made up of SWAT members, but we're understaffed. We have been for a long time, so we usually don't have enough SWAT operators to handle perimeter. So it's usually other deputies, detectives, whoever we've got on hand to handle outer perimeter.
Okay. So I understand that you're one person of an entire team, but would you agree with me that perhaps using the MRAP to knock down the doors may not have even been necessary had that back door been checked and somebody saw that it was open?
For safety reasons, it may or may not have been advisable to enter through that back door, even if we knew it was unlocked. I can't say for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
No further questions.
May this witness be excused?
Okay.
You are excused for subpoena for your actual business.
Thank you.
State calls Louis Pratz Martinez.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your name and spell your first and last name for the record.
Deputy Louis Pratz, Luis Pratts,
How are you employed?
with the Highlands County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you served in law enforcement?
24 years.
Can you describe your background in law enforcement?
I started my career in Miami-Dade County as a patrol deputy for the Miami-Dade Police Department. Then 2005 came to the Highlands County Sheriff's Office. Been employed with them since.
Excuse me. Directing your attention to January 23rd of 2019, what was your assignment on that date?
That day, I was still assigned to the civil unit. It was actually my day off.
All right. Now, were you also a member of the SWAT team?
I am. I was actually assigned to as a team leader for the crisis negotiation team, but I would break off and assist the SWAT team with either vehicle driving or operation of the robot.
Okay. Now, on that date, did you become activated?
Yes.
And how is it that you became involved?
I received a major page, saying there was an incident at a SunTrust Bank where we're requested to respond to. I activated the crisis negotiation team, gave them their assignments, and then responded to the incident location where I knew I was going to be assigned to the robot.
And can you describe what the robot is and kind of how it assists law enforcement in these types of situations?
The robot is iCore Technologies. It's a mini caliber. The robot itself could operate and give video and have two-way communications. It's more of a reconnaissance vehicle that we use. We could deploy it and be externally from the building and have surveillance inside the building.
Okay. So when you are operating the robot, you are in a different location than where the robot is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the robot is it equipped with a video camera that's capable of capturing live images and transmitting them back to your location?
Yes, sir.
And is it also equipped with two-way communication so you can communicate with for example, a barricaded subject?
Yes, sir.
And that subject can communicate with law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, at what point was the robot deployed in this case?
I moved the robot to the main entrance of the bank, which was supposed to be the main entry point, but it was changed at the last minute. So once the SWAT team made entry into the building, I moved the robot to the location where they made the entry from.
And once the robot is deployed, what are you able to observe?
I was asked to check the offices to make sure there was nobody inside the offices. So upon making entry, I immediately made a right turn to where the officers were located and began clearing those separate offices.
Okay. And as you are clearing those offices, do you make observations that lead you to believe that there is a person in one of the offices?
Yes, after clearing the second office, I made my way down the hall, and I could see movement in where if you were going down the hallway, it would be on the left side, solid door with a light on, and I could see shadows moving back and forth inside that room.
Based on your observations, does that lead you to believe that there's someone inside that office?
Yes.
Right. And as the robot remains in that location, do you hear a voice coming from within the office?
Yes, I heard somebody speaking inside that office.
So again, does that lead you to believe that someone's inside the office?
Yes, sir.
Now, during this time, are you aware that members of the crisis negotiation team are on the phone with the barricaded subject?
Yes, sir.
And does it take some time on the part of the crisis negotiators in order to get the subject to exit the office?
Yes, sir. When we're in operation, we lose track of time, so it seemed brief, but it actually took a little while for them to.
Now, at some point, do you learn that the suspect is going to come out of the office?
Yes, sir.
Now, utilizing the robot, are you able to see the process of the suspect coming out of the office?
Yes, sir. When they told us that individual was about to come out of the that room, I backed the robot up and I raised my boom camera up so I could see the entire door as the individual came out.
Okay. And what observations did you make of how the individual came out of the office?
The door was open slowly, and then I saw the individual stick 2 hands out the door.
Okay. And once they stuck their hands out the door, what happened next?
The SWAT team gave them verbal commands, and I observed an individual slowly exit the room and follow the commands that were given to him.
Okay. So the person was able to listen to and hear and then comply with the commands that were being given?
Yes, sir.
What happened next?
Once the individual exited the building, I proceeded to go inside that room and clear the area to make sure there was no other individuals inside there.
Did you locate anyone else inside?
No.
And when you cleared that office, what observations did you make of any items within the office?
There was a piece of body armor and a firearm.
Okay. Now, do you see the person in the courtroom today that you saw exit that office?
Yes, sir.
Can you identify them by pointing to them and describing an article of clothing?
Individual wearing glasses and a white long sleeve shirt.
Referring to this gentleman right here.
Yes, sir.
Return to the witness.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
The robot that was sent into the bank, that has both audio and video capabilities, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it has a camera on it, so you could see what the robot was seeing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you could also hear what the robot was hearing
Yes, ma'am.
from your location outside the bank.
Yes, ma'am.
And the robot was able to carry your voice into the bank, correct?
Yes, if I chose to speak. Yes, ma'am.
And in fact, you, upon determining that there was a person inside the room that you later identified to be Mr. Xavier, you were, through the robot, were giving him commands too, correct?
I don't recall if I gave commands or not. If I did, it was to tell him to follow the commands of the SWAT operators that were down the hall who will give a command for him to exit.
Would it refresh your recollection as to whether or not you gave Mr. Xavier commands if you looked at your deposition
Yeah.
that you gave in March of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach the witness? If I could draw your attention to page 18, lines 2 and 3. If you would just take a look at that and let me know when you're finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did that refresh your recollection
Yes,
as to
ma'am.
whether or not you gave Mr. Xavier commands
Yes.
through the robot?
Yes.
And did you give Mr. Xavier commands
Yes.
through the robot?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just had to get my
No,
question out
sorry.
so we had a record.
Apologize.
May I approach? Thank you. And then you were able to see, as the commands were being given to Mr. Xavier, you were able to see through the camera on the robot how Mr. Xavier was responding to those commands, correct?
Yes.
And was Mr. Xavier complying with the commands that were given to him?
Yes, ma'am, he did.
Through the process of slowly opening the door, right?
Yes.
And first not just, coming his whole body out of the door all at once, but first placing 2 hands outside, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then slowly coming down the hallway and complying with the continued commands.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
No further questions?
May this witness be excused?
You may.
You are excused from this use of the recollection.
Thank you, ma'am.
State calls Charles Proctor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your name and spell your first and last name for the record.
Charles Proctor, Charles, Proctor, Proctor,
How are you employed?
with the Highlands County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you served in law enforcement?
Approximately 22 years.
And can you describe your background in law enforcement?
I started my career like most deputies on patrol. I worked in patrol for approximately 4 years. I then transferred to the narcotics unit where I worked for approximately 2 years. After that, I was part of our TAC unit where I did approximately 2 years in TAC. From TAC, I transferred to criminal investigations where I worked for approximately 2 years. I've been a member of our SWAT team for a little over 17 years. And I'm currently assigned school resource unit where I've been for a little over 10 years now.
Directing your attention to January 23rd of 2019, were you a member of the SWAT team on that date?
Yes, I was.
And on that date, did you become activated?
Yes, sir.
And how was it that you learned that you were being activated?
Through radio communications that I could hear that there had been an alleged shooting at the bank in SunTrust in Sebring.
Where did you respond to?
I responded to the SunTrust Bank in Sebring.
And once you arrived on scene, was a briefing held and a plan developed for how to approach the situation?
Yes, sir.
What role were you tasked with?
I was one of the team members that subsequently made entry into the bank.
Can you describe the process that was used to make entry into the bank?
Yes. SWAT has what we refer to as an MRAP. What that stands for is a mine-resistant ambush protection vehicle. It's an armored vehicle that we as SWAT have that we can utilize. The plan was that we were going to use hooks and chains that we have that we can attach to the MRAP to essentially hook the doors and pull the doors open. That was the primary plan. The secondary would be if something failed and we were not able to make entry that way, we would utilize the MRAP to essentially ram the doors to allow entry into the building.
And you mentioned that initially the idea was that you were going to pull the doors open using the handles. Was that successful?
No, sir, it was not.
Okay, what happened?
When the hooks were attached to the door handles, when the MRAP backed up, the actual door handles came off the door and the doors remained closed and secured.
And once that failed to make or breach the doors, what was the second option that was taken?
At that point, the MRAP was used to forcefully ram the doors on the west side of the bank, which then opened up the doorway. It didn't completely open the doorway. What happened when the MRAP hit the doors, the framework around the door was all kind of bent and crumpled, which then we had to subsequently use those same hooks to attach to the framework of the door, and we were able to successfully pull all of that out of the way to allow us to make entry into the bank.
Now, this whole process of attempting to make entry in the bank, did that create a lot of noise?
Yes, sir.
Once you were able to pull the debris out from the doorway, was entry made into the bank?
Yes, sir, it was.
And once you made entry into the bank, what role did you take?
I maintained like a security position near the west doorway that we had breached or we had forced open. That was my location and that was my area of responsibility, to hold security in that area, while the rest of the team continued to make their way into the lobby of the bank.
Okay. And this being a bank, is there a lot of furniture, offices, places where a barricaded subject or a person could be hiding?
Yes, sir.
And did the SWAT team have to clear all of those areas in order to secure the scene?
Yes, sir. At some point, all those areas had to be cleared.
Now, as you progressed through the lobby, did you observe any persons within the lobby?
Yes, sir. From where I was initially at, I could see that there were individuals lying face down on the floor. Their heads were facing south, their feet were pointing north. Their heads would have been facing more of the south wall in the lobby near the bathrooms.
And could you see any visible signs of life?
I could not, no sir.
How many persons were you able to observe?
From my initial vantage point, probably 2 or 3. It wasn't until I later came back into the bank for the secondary that I was able to see all 5 victims.
While inside the bank, was the crisis negotiation team on the phone with the suspect, the shooter?
Yes, sir. We were getting updates via radio communications that we had.
And did you eventually learn by radio that the suspect wished to surrender to law enforcement?
Yes, subsequently we received information that he was going to come out and surrender.
And what role were you going to take in the surrender of the suspect?
So in law enforcement, we have 2 roles when we are essentially going to arrest an individual, something of this magnitude. You have what's called a contact officer and you have a cover officer. What a cover officer is responsible for doing is doing just that, providing cover with their firearm so that you, the contact officer, can approach the suspect and take them into custody safely without having to have your firearm. So without having to have your firearm out, I was tasked with being the contact officer. So my main role at that point was to take the defendant into custody.
Now, where did the suspect emerge from?
I couldn't see where he came from. I didn't have that vantage point, but it would have been out of my line of sight.
Okay. Was it a hallway?
Yes, sir.
All right. So as he comes into view of the lobby, can you describe what observations you make of the suspect?
I remember Lieutenant Chris Gunner was the officer that was given the defendant commands. When he made his way into the lobby, Lieutenant Gunner had him walk backwards so that he couldn't see us, the rest of the SWAT team members. When he neared the area where I was at, he was ordered on his knees, at which point I was able to take him into custody.
So as the suspect comes into the lobby, is he being given verbal commands?
Yes, he is.
Is he following those verbal commands?
Absolutely.
Now you mentioned that you took the suspect into custody, so you're the one that actually placed cuffs on him.
Yes, sir.
And are you the one that led him out and turned him over to the deputies that were waiting outside?
Yes, sir.
In the moments that you, or seconds that you had contact with the suspect after leading him out of the lobby where these 5 women are dead, what observations did you make of the person's demeanor?
If I had to describe it in one word, he was emotionless. I didn't see, he had no emotion.
Do you see the person you put the cuffs on in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point to him and describe an article of clothing he's wearing?
He's wearing a white collared shirt. He's wearing black frame glasses, and he's sitting at the defense counsel's table.
Referring to this gentleman right here?
Yes, sir.
Turn to the witness.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As Mr. Xavier came into your line of sight, coming from the back area of the bank, he was being given commands by Lieutenant Gunter, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Xavier was following those commands.
Yes, ma'am.
And when he was ordered to come out slowly, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And he came out slowly.
Yes, ma'am.
And he was ordered to turn around, and Mr. Xavier did turn around.
Yes, ma'am.
And he was ordered to have his hands up, correct?
I don't remember if his hands, I know at one point he had his hands up so that his shirt could be pulled up to make sure he didn't have any weapons on him. But I don't remember at the point he came out if he was ordered to, he still had his hands where we could see him.
Okay. Well, he was ordered at one point to put his hands on his shirt and lift the shirt up.
Yes, ma'am.
And you saw him do that.
Yes, or from where he was at that point initially, I couldn't see that. That was when he first came out of the office, and I did not have a vantage point of that.
Okay, so by the time he got within your line of sight, he had already showed the waistband.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it. As he is coming out of the back area, he was walking backwards, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then he was ordered to kneel down to the ground, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were able to actually approach him and put the handcuffs on him, he was kneeling on the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
And as you placed the handcuffs on Mr. Xavier, he was complying with you.
Yes, ma'am.
He wasn't pulling away or trying to get up and run, right?
No, ma'am.
And as you walked Mr. Xavier out of the bank, he walked along with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't have to be dragged or something like that.
No, ma'am.
And again, he wasn't trying to run off. You walked him to the car and he walked right alongside you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you turned him over to the next deputy or whoever it was to be placed in the patrol car.
Yes, ma'am.
And he cooperated with that as well.
Yes, ma'am.
After turning Mr. Xavier over to the other deputies, you reassembled with your SWAT team
Yes, ma'am.
and you went back into the bank.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was at this point that the EMS were allowed inside the bank, right?
Yes, ma'am. Once the SWAT team, we have what we call secondary clearance. When we make the initial entry into a structure, we do the initial entry, we clear it. We do a secondary to make sure that there's no potential additional suspects or threats. Up until that point, we don't allow anybody else in. So once the secondary at that point had been completed, I was making my way back in about the same time that they were wrapping up, and I remember EMS personnel did respond in to check the victims.
So that was the first time after all of that, that was the first time that EMS went in.
Yes, ma'am. We have medics on our team that did the original assessment, but the actual Highlands County EMS personnel came in right after or right about the same time I came in from escorting the defendant out of the bank.
Did you at any point go around the back of the bank and check the back door to see if it was open?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
May this witness be excused and released?
He may.
Sir, you are released from this meeting with free will out of business.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Your Honor, the state would like to call Jeff Reinhardt, please.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I inquire? Thank you. Sir, would you please state your full name
Jeffrey Reinhardt,
and how do you spell the last name?
Reinhart.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm a lieutenant with the Sebring Police Department.
What type of experience do you have in law enforcement?
I have approximately 21 years of law enforcement experience combined with time at Sebring Police Department and Highlands County Sheriff's Office.
What was your role in this particular case?
I was the lead detective at the time. I was the sergeant of the Criminal Investigations Division.
Multiple agencies responded there. We've seen many officers or deputies from the Sheriff's Office. Why is the lead, why is the case given to Sebring PD in this particular case?
It occurred within our jurisdiction.
Okay, so it's a matter of that's part of Sebring itself, where the bank is at.
Yes.
Okay. The date of January 23rd, 2019, when Zephan Xavier was arrested, did you have contact with him?
Yes, I did.
How soon after his arrest, approximately, did you have contact with him?
20 to 30 minutes.
Did you have an opportunity to speak with him that day?
Yes, I did.
Did you conduct an interview of him that day?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked for identification, State's Exhibit 224. May I approach the witness? Sir, do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
My initials and date where I signed here.
Okay. When you put your initials and date and sign it, was there a purpose why you marked it?
Yes, there was.
Why?
I was authenticating what it was.
Okay. And was it what you anticipated to be on there?
Yes, it was.
Was it your interview on January 23rd with Zephyr and Xavier?
Yes, that's what's
Okay.
on here.
Is it an accurate audio-visual capture of that interview?
Yes, it is.
And I'd like to move State's Exhibit number 224 into evidence.
You want to be the state and I approach the sidebar? Step outside.
May I approach the witness and retrieve the exhibit?
Yes. The exhibit 224 will be received and evidence subject to our previous discussion as exhibit 224 and so marked on that card.
Detective Reinhardt, was there anybody else present during the interview besides you and Mr. Xavier?
Yes, sir, there was.
Who was?
It was Detective Roger St. Laurent with the Highlands County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. Is he heard and seen during this interview?
Yes, he is.
Is he present in the courtroom today?
Yes, he is.
Identify him for us.
It's the gentleman sitting at the table with the white shirt and dark frame glasses.
Okay. He was arrested, he was in custody. Was Mr. Xavier given notification of the warnings, Miranda warnings, right to remain silent in counsel?
Yes, he was.
Is that on the recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Did he seem to understand that warning?
Yes, he did.
And did he waive that right to have counsel and the right to remain silent?
Yes, he did.
The interview was then conducted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. This time, Your Honor, I'd like to publish State's Exhibit 224 to the jury.
Okay. Okay. My name's Jeff Reinhardt. I'm a sergeant with the Sebring Police Department, okay? Before I talk to you, I'm going to read you your rights, okay? Before I ask any questions, I want to advise you of your rights under law. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before and during any question if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand the rights I just read you? Yes. You do? Okay. So, I apologize, I don't know your name. What's your name, sir? Can you spell it for me?
Zephen.
Last name?
Xavier. Xavier.
Xavier. Zephen Xavier. And what's your birthday, Mr. Xavier?
April 2nd, 1997.
April 2nd, April 2, 1997? So you're, how old are you now? 20 years old? 21 years old. All right. So, so what's your home address? 311?
Pine Tree Lane.
Pine Tree Lane. And what town is that?
Sebring, Florida.
Sebring, Florida. And the zip code?
I believe it's 33872.
Okay. Do you have a phone number, a good phone number for you?
574.
574?
301.
Mm-hmm.
9842.
All right. All right. Well, I just want to talk to you for a little bit. This is another detective that's going to be in here with us and speak with us. This is Detective Roger. Okay?
Is anybody going to clean up? So
I'll clean up? Absolutely. While we just want to kind of get to know you a little bit. Have you lived here in Sebring your whole life, Mr. Zane? Where are you from?
Indiana.
Indiana. What town in Indiana? Plymouth, Indiana? How long have you been here in Sebring?
Not even a year.
Not less than a year? Thank
you.
That's great. If you need it, just let us know. We'll help you out, okay? So,
It's not on my nose.
I'm sorry about that. We've seen people in a lot worse conditions than that. So did you live your entire life in Plymouth before you came here to Sebring? So did you attend school in Plymouth?
In Plymouth, I had Bremen.
Where's Bremen?
20 minutes away from Plymouth. I don't know what direction it was, I can tell you. But
Okay. So what grade level did you go in Bremen? Was that before Plymouth or after?
after, technically.
Okay.
I didn't even finish high school. I got my GED.
And where'd you obtain that at?
Horizons Education Alliance, I believe.
And how long ago did you do that?
3.5 years ago.
About 3.5 years ago. Okay. What brings you to Sebring? Why did you move here?
This place, not having anybody talk to help.
Cool. Do you have other family here?
My mother.
Your mother? Do you live with your mother? All right. What's your mother's name?
Misty
Mm-hmm.
Hendricks.
Misty Hendricks.
CKS, not X.
CKX.
Yes.
All right.
And it's Misty with an I, just in case.
MISTI. Thank you for correcting me. If you see I make errors or something, I don't mind you correcting me. I want to make sure I get everything right, okay? So, just tell me a little bit more about it. What do you like to do for hobbies in your off time? What do you do?
Keep myself busy.
Keep yourself busy? How do you do that?
Music, video games, reading. Anything to keep me out of my head.
Music, video games, and reading? Is there any particular type of music that you like?
Classical. Beethoven, Bach, and Celtic stuff to calm me down. Not exciting.
All right. And how about video games? What type of gaming space do you like? Do you prefer?
Xbox.
Xbox. Any preference on games? You got a favorite game? And how about reading? What do you like to read?
Science fiction / fantasy.
Got a favorite book?
The series for the Aragon series.
All right. So that's what you do in your pastime. Any other hobbies? Anything else excites you?
I try to keep myself as little excitement as I can.
So you're trying to, and you've told me that, and why is that? Why do you keep yourself calm? Why do you keep yourself from being excited?
Because as soon as I get excited or happy or something happens, voices in my head start telling me to get bad things again.
Okay. So when you get excited or you get happy, you say you hear some voices in your head? Right.
Anytime something positive happens or seems like everything's going okay.
What do these voices tell you?
Hurt people, kill myself.
Is it always the same voice?
There's at least 5.
5 different voices you hear?
That I can differentiate from my own.
How long have you been hearing these voices for?
Since I was 11. Maybe I'll push it again.
Yeah? All right, so since you're 11, you've been hearing these voices, and when they speak to you, do they normally say the same things?
No, sometimes it's as simple as go push this person, go smack, hit, pull someone's hair, spit on them, do something to make their life hell. Other times it's as bad as today.
Okay. So, in the past, when you've heard these voices, you would do what they told you to do? Have you ever actually did what they told you to do?
Only once.
And what was that?
When I was in the behavioral health center, I beat a guy up because he kept saying something really bad to me, and it kept exciting me, pissing me off, so that they would tell me to do horrible things. They told me to beat him to a bloody pulp, but luckily there was a couple adults that jumped on me before I could hurt him too bad.
And where was that center at? In Pratz?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I was at most 16.
You were 16 years old.
The first time I was in the behavioral health center, we were 15.
Was what? I'm sorry.
15.
How long did you stay for?
My first time was for depression and suicidal depression, so it was 2, maybe 3 weeks, followed by counseling and medication.
So they prescribed you some medication? Are you currently on medication?
The medication we were taking works.
So are you prescribed medication from a doctor and you choose not to take it, or a doctor removed you from it?
I stopped taking it when I was 17. I haven't taken it since. I've been prescribed thing, I haven't been taking it. Mostly take Advil sometimes.
All right. When's the last time you went and seen a doctor about these, or spoke to anybody about these voices and these things going on with you?
I never really talked to anybody about the voices. I just told them I had suicidal ideation. That I had thoughts about killing people. I didn't tell them about the voices. I didn't want anybody to know about them.
You never told any of your mental health people about them?
I think some crazy enough.
No, you understand in order for people to help you, you have to be honest. You understand that, right? And if they would have known about these, maybe that's something they could help you with. It's very important to be honest and open, okay? So currently right now you're on no meds, you don't take any medications. Do you drink alcohol? Do you use any other type of street drugs? Do you even smoke cigarettes? No? All right. So tell me a little bit more about what's going on in your life since you've been living here in Sebring for the last year and a half. What's going on with you?
I've just been trying to find a job that gives me a strict schedule and has a chain of command that keeps my mind focused on exactly what they tell me to do and not, you do it how you think you should do it. It's being told exactly how to do it, when to do it, and what time it needs to be done, not given a choice about anything.
Sure. You follow directions well?
I try to.
Why do you not want to do it your way or how you want to do it?
Because once I start thinking about how to do things, they start talking to me how to do bad stuff instead of doing it how they should. Setting up for somebody to get hurt, hurting someone instead of just doing what I'm supposed to.
Okay. So do you currently have a job? Have you worked any job since you were here in Sebring? You have been employed.
The prison in my park. I thought that it would be a good spot that did exactly that. Gave me a chain of command that told me exactly what to do, when to do it. And it did, but it didn't.
What job did you hold there at the prison?
CO.
You went through the corrections academy? Are you a certified corrections officer?
I was 2-3 months away from going.
And so they hired you and then they were going to send you through the academy?
There was a wait time. So they got us trained as much as we could while we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would send us when we come back and be certified.
I got you. And you're no longer employed there? Okay.
As soon as they started telling me I hurt the inmates, I got out and told me I couldn't keep bringing stuff to work, like from home, and it's basically what I was doing, and I want them to think that I was trying to go there to hurt people.
So you said that you voluntarily left, or you told the staff that, so the voices were telling you to hurt inmates?
And telling me I hurt, it wasn't just the inmates, but since I was mainly around inmates, I mean, there's 1,500 inmates there versus like the 150, 200 staff.
Sure. When you said you told me you were bringing stuff from home, what do you mean by that? What were you bringing in?
Like bringing the hardships, bringing weight, bringing stuff.
So bringing mental stuff, bringing in stuff that was hindering you from doing your job? Okay. You weren't bringing contraband into the inmates or nothing like that? All right. So after APCI, did you work anywhere else? No. How long ago, when did you end that job?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago?
Oh, 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half, I don't remember.
All right. Since then, have you looked for any work, or have you started working anywhere? No. What have you been spending most of your time doing for the last week and a half, 2 weeks?
Same music and playing games, trying to get everything out of my head and get back to being, well, sane, normal.
So you're calming yourself through the gaming and the music?
Trying to.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, was it working? Or are you still struggling with it a little?
It was getting worse each day, but I just spent more and more time trying to play, listen to music, read, do something each time, every day. Nothing helped.
Mm-hmm. So let's speak about your home. At your home, did you have your own bedroom? Who all resided in the home with you?
My mother and her boyfriend.
Mother and boyfriend. They had their room and you had your room. Anybody else? Any pets?
One dog.
Your dog or mom's dog?
Mom.
You like it? All right. So, do you normally eat pretty good? You got a good diet? Don't eat good?
One time a day usually, if I can get myself to.
How about sleeping?
Whenever my body tells me I can sleep is when I sleep.
When you finally get fatigued enough to lay down? All right. Well,
One thing that's been helping recently with that is, for some odd reason, how LPM has been knocking me out. I've been trying to take that the last couple of days to get myself more sleep and able to have more energy the next day so I could go out and do a normal day and start finding a job, try to get back.
when's the last time you took the Tylenol PM?
Sunday night.
Did you ever get a little sleep from that?
Okay.
Tell me about this morning. What happened? Did you sleep last night?
3 hours.
And that was during the nighttime period, or when did you get those 3 hours of sleep? Do you remember roughly what time?
2 to 5 a.m.
All right. And at the times of period when you were awake, you were gaming or music or doing stuff like that? Or were you doing anything different?
I was playing games, listening to music until about 10, and then I don't know, I just sat there for a few hours.
Okay. So from 10 to 2, you didn't play any games or music, you just kind of hung out. Went to sleep, woke up at 5 this morning. Did you eat breakfast? No? Wasn't hungry? What happened when you woke up?
I woke up from my nightmare and went back to sleep, so.
So what did you do from there?
Can you get tissue again?
Sure. You good? So you had a nightmare, you woke up, couldn't go back to sleep, so you're just up and awake. And then tell me what did you do? Hung out, music?
On music and played a game on my phone.
Did you talk to anybody?
Until about 9.
About 9 a.m. you did?
Yeah.
Who'd you talk to?
A buddy of mine on Xbox. I played a game for a little bit and then I told him that I had to go because things was getting a little loud in my head and I was trying to kind of go off to a quieter place, be nothing happening, no real movement, trying to just get it out of my head.
Sure. All right. Then what?
It getting louder and louder.
That's the voices. Can you remember what they were telling you?
They've been telling me to do for over a week when they've gotten me to buy the gun and the vest and all the ammo. And I tried to see if I couldn't go to a range and spend all the ammo. So I didn't have anything to do anything even if they told me to. Every time I get myself around to go do it, I just got too loud in my head. I couldn't take it anymore, so I ended up just going back to my room and they quiet back down.
You said the voices told you to buy a gun. You bought a gun. Where did you buy the gun at?
Boom booms, clear in Sebring.
Do you know when you bought it?
3 days after I quit my job at the prison.
You said you bought some ammunition too. Where did you get that from?
Same store.
One room at the same time.
No. Well, no, it was the day that I went and picked it up.
So you went and bought the gun. They gave you a waiting period. You had to come back, and when you picked it up, you got the ammo at that time. You just a minute ago, I believe you said you bought a vest, a bulletproof vest. Where did you get that from? From Boom Boom. When did you get it?
Monday.
This Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of gun did you buy?
Springfield XDM, 9mm.
Mm-hmm. So the voices told you to do that, and so over the last week and a half or so, you purchased a gun and ammo and a vest on Monday. Where is that gun at now?
I left it in the office. I was sitting there. That was the vest and all
And
the
what office? Where's that office at?
It was in the bank.
The bank. Okay. And the vest and the guns wherever that you were in an office. So tell me about how did you end up at the bank? How did you get there?
Just driving. And then they said here and pulled over.
Okay. So you were at your house. Let me back up just a little bit. You're at your house. Tell me what happened before you left your house. I know you said the voices were getting loud. What happened before you left? What made you leave?
Kept getting louder and they kept saying to leave. And every time I get closer to the door, closer to my car, it get quieter. So I finally got to the car and was pulling out of the driveway and they stopped yelling and they stopped for a while. I just drove, figured that maybe if I just drove, I could calm down. I turned on music and I just kept driving. I've never done anything anywhere, so I figured I'd just drive and calm down. I've done it before, I've just driven and calmed down. When I was younger, my dad and I got into a really heated argument. He kicked me out. And I drove my car that I had at the time and drove. I was just driving from town to town, back and forth, trying to calm down. Yeah, it worked. I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't hurt myself. Drove. I figured that would happen again. It didn't.
Okay. So before you got in the car to drive, how did the gun and the vest get in the car?
I put it on before I left.
So you put the vest on before you got in the vehicle. You put it on in your home?
That was the person that told me to do.
They told you to put the vest on?
Put on the vest.
I apologize, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecuting attorney is sitting between us, and I can't see Mr. Zander in the video at all. I wondered if he could just step away. I'd like to see his effect.
You want to grab here and I'll sit on the other side?
Yeah.
I apologize.
Move that chair. This is on this side.
That would be good. You'll have to be able to see them.
Your Honor, since we're on a pause right now, this runs 2 hours and 50 minutes. Would you like to take a break at some point? And if so, just tell me how far you want to go. And we're in only 23 minutes at this point.
Would you like a break now, or would you like to listen a little longer and take a break after a bit? After a bit.
Should I let it run 1 full hour, which is about 40 minutes out still, and then?
I think that would be good. We'll take our break at 3:30.
Okay, then I'll pause it at that point and then be doing that for that purpose. Thank you, Your Honor.
But maybe they wanted me to just kill myself. I didn't know what was happening. And somebody grabbed the gun, and I thought they were just going to have me kill myself. And I kept screaming to go in the car.
So you get into the car. Did you? What car was it?
Altima?
An Altima? Okay. Whose car is it? Is it your car?
I mean, my mother bought it, but I'm paying off so I can own it.
Oh, okay. So you're paying mom for it. And it's a Nissan Altima, is that right? What color?
Black.
So you put the vest on in your home, pick up the gun, you get the gun, you go out, get in the Nissan Altima. That's the car you normally drive. Right. Was mom home at the time? She wasn't there?
I think that's why they chose today. I don't know if she's still in Florida. She's supposed to be going to Illinois. She has training for her job. She's going to be gone for a week.
So mom left today going to Illinois for training? Okay. Was there anybody else in the home when you left? Just you. So you get your gun, you wear in your vest, you jump in the car. Where do you drive to? Where's the first place you drive to?
Stop sign like on my street, and then I turned it off the highway so I could just maybe drive around Sebring and just keep driving in circles through Sebring, but got to 27, turned right, and just drove. That was it.
Okay. So as you're driving down 27, then what happened?
As we're getting closer to the bank, the voices started to pick back up and start yelling again. Told me to pull over, to stop. I didn't see where I could stop.
Okay, so that's when you pulled into the bank? Okay. And once you got in the bank parking lot, what happened?
Sat there for a while. Sat there forever. Trying to stop myself.
Yeah.
When I got in there and I was standing in front of her, I staring off into space, trying to not think, so I just walked back out.
So you walked into the bank? You got out of your car and went inside? Were you wearing the vest? Did you have your gun? And then tell me what you saw when you opened the door and went in the bank. What did you see?
5 people.
What happened?
I was talking to the bank teller, and she asked if she could help me. And when they got out, and I told her, by stepping out from behind the counter, all of you, there's 2 behind the counter. I told them to get up against the wall. They both walked out. They didn't argue. They didn't just listen and walk. She told the lady I told to get up on the counter against the wall. I turned around and said that all of you guys to get against the wall. And one of the ladies came back with a sarcastic okay, and the lady behind the counter just said, get against the wall, just listen to her. So they told me to ask who to lock the doors. That's what they told me to do, is lock the doors so no one can get in. out the doors, told him to lay on the ground, told them to lay on the ground. He told him to lay on the ground, screaming to shoot. I just stood there for a second. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I don't like hurting people. They told me to shoot. It got to the point where I was aiming at them. I had my finger off the trigger. I didn't want to shoot. He kept tormenting me and screaming.
What were the ladies doing?
Asking me why.
And so they were standing up there? What happened?
On their stomachs, facing the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Just aiming. Didn't think that. When I told me to shoot them, and I put my finger on the trigger, pulled. He started crying. Shooting.
Okay.
So I stopped hearing movement. And then I went. And I knew I did something horrible. But maybe if thing was still alive, if you're breathing, not a lot, choking. But I heard him. I just walked away, got on my knees. They called the cops. And I told them I just killed 5 people. I was on my knees with the gun against my head, talking to that lady, the dispatcher of that lady. And then, I don't know, every time the gun was against my head, my fingers on the trigger, the voices would stop. He'd relax, he'd calm down. So just kept talking. But I knew, I just potentially killed 5 people. I knew no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I've done something horrible. I couldn't put the gun down. I wanted to shoot myself. I wanted to die. I deserved to die. And then I saw the police outside. And I heard the women raggedly breathing. And I knew that they're not screaming at me or anything. If I get away to an area where I can't see anybody, I can't see anything, I can't hear anything, maybe they could help them, maybe they could get them out and have 5 people go. Maybe 4, maybe just 1 person at it. And then I was on the phone for, it felt like a lifetime. I was talking and then I was talking to Chris and then my phone started dying, so he called me on the landline over there. Kept talking and I eventually put my gun down. Security was going to walk out there and just get a shot. I wasn't scared of being killed. I was just scared to go where I'm going. So I did what they told me to.
So did you have a cell phone with you when it happened? You said you called the cops. Was that on your cell phone? Did you, while you were in the bank, did you talk to anybody else on your cell phone? Did you send any text messages to anyone? Did you have any other communication with anybody outside the bank?
I just remember being at the bank, outside. I was inside.
So you come inside, you said there were two ladies behind the counter when you walked in the bank, that's what you saw, two? And that's when you pulled the gun out. Where was the gun at when you pulled it out? Where'd you have it at?
That's what your pocket.
In the pocket, you had like a hoodie with the front pockets? So the gun has been in the pockets, you pulled it out of there. And that's when you said you got told to come out from behind the counter? Was there anybody else in the bank other than you and the two ladies?
There was the three women that were at the desk.
They were all at a desk? Do you know, were they bank employees or customers? Do you know who they were?
Two were bank employees, one was a customer, I think.
Okay.
And one of them had her purse on her, so I assumed that was not someone that worked there.
Did you say anything to them?
Just to get against the wall.
The same wall that the other two women were? So you put them all on the same, you gathered them all to the same wall? Were they standing up facing you, away from you?
They were standing up facing me, but until I told them to get against the wall and lay on their stomachs, and that was it.
So originally, you're standing in front of them, they're all facing you, all five women and you. And you, at some point you told one of them to go lock the door? One of the employees went and locked the door for you? Okay. And then after she locked the door, did she return? What happened? How did that happen? She got back to the wall? All right. And then you had them all, you said you told them all to lay down. Were they face up or face down? Face down. And you said they were facing the wall, is that correct? Where were you standing at that time?
A foot away from their feet.
So behind them. All right. And while they're on the ground, how long, do you remember how long this time period was? Is this a long time or was it pretty quick?
20, 30 seconds.
So it was pretty quick. During this time, did you hear the voices? Were the voices talking to you? Do you remember anything specific of what they were saying?
Shoot. Kill. Kill them. Do it. Pull the fucking trigger. And then when I did, they just kept going. And the second that they stopped moving and I stopped hearing anything, it was quiet. And I just wanted to die for what I'd done. I deserved.
So, did you shoot them one at a time, or did you shoot them all very rapidly? Explain to me how you actually shot them. So if they're on the ground, you're near their feet, they're face down away from you. Explain how you shot the first one.
Left to right.
From starting on the left, moving to the right? Did you walk up close to them, or you stood back and shot from a distance?
I was just a foot away from all their feet. I didn't move.
So you shot kind of on an angle up towards their head, or where were you aiming at?
Just trying to hit me in the head.
All right. So you start on the left, you shoot the first one, then do you take a step to the right, and do you kind of walk as you shoot, or you stand in the same place and fire all the shots from the same location? Same place.
Smoking the pack as it turned.
You just kind of adjusted your body to, as you moved left or right? And were you standing kind of in the middle of them, or
I mean, the
first one on the left? So you were closest to the left one, and that was your closest and your first shot, and then you just went down the line. Okay. Do you know how many times you shot each one, or was it just one shot at each?
kept shooting it till they stopped.
Until they stopped moving, or were they saying anything to you? They weren't talking at all, they were just laying there still?
After the first shot, they started crying. And one lady looked at me. Just trying to not look.
Do you remember which one looked at you?
Last one.
On the far right? Did she say anything to you, or just looked at you?
Looked at me.
Did she continue to lay there face down? You said you continued to shoot until they weren't moving or you didn't hear anything. You're talking about hear anything from the women or hear the voices in your head any longer?
Women, until I thought they were dead. As soon as I thought they were dead, they stopped.
The voices stopped? Did you have to reload your gun? Did you shoot an entire magazine worth? Do you have any idea how many rounds you may have shot?
On count.
But did you have any additional ammunition with you?
I never wrote the what they had told me to.
And do you know how many that was? How much ammo did you bring?
The box that I bought was 50 rounds. I think each magazine held 19. I had all of the magazines.
Had you shot your gun prior to today? Have you ever fired that weapon before? Have you ever fired any other weapons?
I fired pistols, shotguns, rifles, muzzleloaders. I shot M4 basic.
A basic, what are you referring to?
Basic
Military?
in the military.
So he was in the military also?
No. I was in basic and just got sent home medically.
When, at what point in time, what year did you go to basic?
2018, I think. 2017.
Last year, so 2 years ago? And
Over 20.
how long were you in there before
It
you?
might have been 2016 because I turned 18 or 19 while I was there.
Okay. So about how long did you do in basic before you were medically cleared?
2 months.
Which branch were you in?
Army.
Which post is your basic?
Fort Leavenworth, or Fort Leonard Woods.
Austin Woods.
Everything was fine when I was there. And then 3 guys threatened to jump me and kill me in the shower, and yelling again, and said something I shouldn't.
other than the Springfield XDM?
No.
Do you have own any other firearms? Is there any firearms at your home?
My mother's.
Your mother has a gun? You know what gun that is?
32 special, I think.
Is it a semi-automatic or revolver?
Revolver. No, I've never shot it.
Other than the military, have you had any formal firearms training? Did you do any firearms stuff out of APCI? I want to step up for just a second. Are you okay for a second? I want to step up for a second. Come on. I'll be right back.
What's that?
That's our usual first name. My name's Roger, man. There's a couple things you said that I just want a little clarity on, if that's okay. You said that we moved here from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Indiana, okay. You said that it would help, it would help to move here. Help how?
New place, not knowing people.
What was wrong with your old place?
Everybody knew me.
Was that a bad thing, or? I don't know, you know better.
Everybody knew I'd been in various health centers. Everyone knew that I was just a weird kid. I was a weird guy, and I didn't like the attention.
You didn't view yourself as fitting in, would that be accurate to say, or somehow?
I don't fit in anywhere.
Did you have a therapist up here in Plymouth?
What was it? 17 or 18?
What was your therapist's name?
Patrick.
Patrick. Patrick.
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Patrick O'Connell. Okay. Any therapists down here? Or? Just curious, why did you have a therapist here?
I had a therapist since then.
Did you like him?
I guess.
As far as therapists go, I mean, was he good to you and that type of stuff? Or,
My dad didn't like him, so he stopped it because he wouldn't tell him what we talked about all the time.
Confidentiality type stuff, right? Yeah. Did that make you feel safe that you wouldn't talk to your dad about some of the stuff you discussed, or
Somewhat.
were you embarrassed by it to a certain degree? Or?
Don't understand why it could be normal.
Right.
I can't just be like everybody else. Sam, all you guys have depression occasionally, but
How old were you?
21.
21. Okay. Did your parents know about the voices, or you ever discuss it with them, or? No.
I voiced my dislike of people and how I wish I could do bad things to some people, but I just shrugged it off and just.
I think your dad mentioned something about you saying that recently. You said something to that effect recently, like you felt like it was snapping or there's something bad happening, or do you remember a comment like that? Because I think he mentioned something about that. No? Did you ever, when did you say last time you talked to folks about something like that? Oh, I know it's not. Yeah.
No.
Well, I thought you said that occasionally, is that what you just said, that occasionally you would talk to them about?
I just mentioned that some people I wouldn't mind hurting and doing bad things to.
What kind of people? Anyone in particular, or just?
People who just did things that made my life hell.
What type of things? Random things, or?
Bullies just going out of their way to do something to just fuck me over.
You ever had time in school? Was school kind of rough on you or what?
I was bullied throughout school, and then kept failing.
Did you graduate high school or?
My GED.
Did you get up there from Memphis somewhere else? What about any after school after that, or was it military after that?
Not there. That's all I said since I was a kid, is just to be in the military. And then when I started realizing, when I had the voices, that when I had strict rules and regulations to follow,
Needed structure.
it helps. So I thought that'd be a good spot.
Have you ever been in any accidents in your life or anything like that, or whether it's a car wreck or anything like that? I noticed you seem like structure is a big thing for you. Bet you had a nightmare this morning. What kind of nightmare? Remember your nightmares?
Most of the time, no. Today it wasn't anything special. It's just, I put my hand up on my controller and a scorpion stung me and I woke the hell up. It's just something that, and I didn't see anything with the scorpions. It was not like I'd watched anything or seen anything that would have popped up. It just had a weird dream.
So you woke up starting a video game. Any, do you have a genre of video games for shooters, sports?
Generally anything that's not sports, be it survival, be it first-person shooters, be it MMOs, RPGs, MMORPGs, anything to keep me occupied.
What type of MMOs do you like?
I never really got into World of Warcraft, so
Oh man, I'm an old school MMO player.
RuneScape type.
EverQuest type.
It's not bad either.
No. Broke my damn heart today, and they call it EverCraft for a reason, you know what I'm saying? And that's probably no joke. What about first-person shooter and first on that?
Not really, it's just mostly realism.
Oh yeah.
Bullet drop, weapon sway, wave.
Put you down on the action stuff, man.
What?
First-person shooter was not to put you down in there and make it feel, feel like you're down, in space.
I wanted, again, it made me feel like I was the soldier that was following the orders of being told to do something.
The adrenaline pump, You ever play live online with other people too, or yeah?
Maybe I play games as an adult, be on teams.
I know a lot of people that do it. Make money, sponsorship.
I thought
Maybe these are elite weapons, right? Oh shit, that's big money right there.
I thought maybe I'd be doing good at it because I was accurate in all my games and good at calling out spots, good at finding, good at trying to do everything I can. Try to be as tactical as I can because the more tactical I get,
The better you get.
well, that and the less that all the stuff my head has.
The more focused you are.
I'm focused on that, nothing else.
Right.
And
Pinpoints your vision. Right.
so I thought I'd be good with it. And I tried to do that when I was 15. I was on a team that was planning on going. We were in a state finals. We were going to go and do that. And then my father took my Xbox away, turned off the Wi-Fi, and said that I couldn't.
Why do you do that?
I was failing my classes, which I understand, but
Back because of bullying and the pressure, peer pressure and all that stuff. Yeah.
and the more they would bully me, the more the voices would get to me because the more I just dig into myself in my head and not focus on something. When I was up until 6th grade, I was relatively fine because my mind was trying to focus. Because as a kid, you usually are just focused on one thing at a time. You never focused on everything.
You know, right-handed.
Right.
Right-handed.
Speaking of left, my left hand's tight. The right's fine, the left's a little tight.
Right now, wrist. I haven't made this thing a little bit.
Fine.
Yeah. kind of funny to me. And I don't mean funny like actually funny, funny kind of like strange. You mentioned that when the voices told you to get in the car and bring the vest and bring ammo and bring the gun, right? That told you to put your vest on. Remember, before you drove, put your vest on. And you thought it was maybe they wanted you to kill yourself, right? But what I mean by strange is the vests are meant to protect you. So why do you think the voices would tell you to put your vest on if you were going to kill yourself?
Because when I was younger, I thought that I was gonna beat them at their own game, and then I was gonna shoot myself in the stomach instead of the head. So that way, if I don't get help, I still die, but if someone gets there.
You said the voices told you to put the vest on. Now, it's your word, and I'm not asking because I don't know what, you know what I mean, I'm trying to understand. But you said the voices told you to put your vest on, so as a little kid, you thought you would thwart them by putting on the vest. I can understand you put it on, but you said the voices told you to put it on. What do you think that is?
Maybe they wanted me to die in a fucking firefight instead of just killing myself until the moment happened. And they decided, fuck it. I don't understand it half the time.
Have you ever been in that SunTrust thing before?
I've been at SunTrust, and I've been like
Just like example though, right?
I've been in that bank like twice because the other one wasn't open, that's it.
I see.
The other one was closer.
But it was closed?
I don't know why. I was just trying to drive. I didn't really focus on where I was going, I just drove.
But the other side of the trust, when you passed it, it looked like it was closed?
I didn't drive that way.
Oh.
I just took a right off the Thunderbird on the 27.
Gotcha.
That took me there.
You've been in that bank twice before? Yeah. Let me ask you this, brother. I can't imagine what those voices in my head would be like, you know. I can't pretend that I can hear them or anything like that. But, you know. Why now? Other times, well, actually, you think you told me, you told me, I'm not saying anyway, that in the past, the voices told you to do things, you usually focus yourself, do other things to take your mind off of it, drive until your head quieted down. You do something to say, no. The only time you couldn't solve that problem is when somebody poked you like that guy at the treatment center was in your face threatening you, or the kids, the dudes of the Fort Leonard Wood, right? And those times when you face physical harm or abuse like that, you can help yourself, right? But in other times, you'd be able to do something to cope with it, right? You never been in trouble before, right? Why do you think that this particular time you couldn't cope with it, deal with it? Well, clearly the ladies in the bank weren't really coping. They were just doing their job and living their lives. Why do you think doing that would be the difference? You don't understand that, you think? What do you think that you would do differently? And I know hindsight's 20/20, and none of us have the power to erase or kill that time. But how do you think you would handle it differently?
I just wish I'd given her the gun instead of call the cops. Even then, I have a knife, but she has a gun. I mean,
right. Do you think that she saw you as like a police type figure when you walked in there? And I say that because normally people don't walk in wearing vests.
I had a sweatshirt on over it.
You had a sweatshirt on over it, so it was kind of hidden.
That's why I figured that maybe driving would help us, because they were trying to hide it. They weren't just wearing it, so I figured maybe they were. I thought maybe it'd be okay driving because.
Little confused. Before you didn't mention that they told you to put on a sweater too. Or a sweatshirt, too. You get thirsty, you want some water or something? Please. Okay. Few seconds, right? Don't get some money, so we'll take that, right?
If you find that appropriate, you're going to pause at this moment.
It would be an appropriate time for us to take our afternoon break. You can excuse yourselves, leave your notepads in your seats. See y'all shortly.
May we continue with Exhibit 224? Thank you.
He's gonna get you some water. Did you want some water? Alright, sorry about that. Step out for a second. Feeling okay? You're feeling alright right this minute? Just need some water? I'd like to kind of clarify a few things if I can with you. You told me back when you were 11 you started hearing voices, right? And you went to a doctor. Did your mom take you to a doctor, or they started taking you to some doctors to get some help?
When I was 15, I had called the suicide hotline because I was on the roof of my dad's old house with a rope, getting ready to kill myself. But I figured on my walk home, since I knew no one would be there, that I would call the suicide hotline and see if maybe they could talk me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They did. And then, first time I got put through a behavioral health center.
Was voluntary, or you went in there voluntary, or did they do some type of involuntary? They took you into custody and took you.
At the time, it was voluntary.
It was voluntary, so you went on your own. What was the name?
Well, I mean, my parents had obviously signed me, and I was
Sure.
young,
But you went willingly. Law enforcement didn't take you. What was the name of that place? Do you remember?
Michiana Behavioral Health Center.
I'm sorry. What was it again?
Michiana Behavioral Health Center.
Is that the same one you went back to later when you had the fight with the guy? You went to the same unit. Did you ever go to who prescribed you the meds that you were taking?
Doctors there.
The doctors at the behavior. Did you ever go to any doctors outside of the behavioral health unit?
I went to specialists and prescribed me antidepressants. And after I went there for homicidal ideation, they prescribed me antipsychotics and
Do you know the doctor's name who prescribed them to you? Do you know who was the prescribing doctor on them? And you said they didn't work. Did the doctor pull you off, or you just decided on your own that I'm not taking them?
the first 2 years I kept telling them whenever something wasn't working. And then after I turned probably 17 and a half, 17 and 3/4, I was done. Every time I took the medicine, I couldn't get any strength, I couldn't get any energy, I couldn't walk, let alone do anything.
So, and you removed yourself, you decided you weren't gonna take them anymore because of how they made you feel? Was your mother aware that you quit taking your meds? She was okay with you not taking your meds?
She wasn't at first, but then until I started getting a little better, started actually doing things, and was actually able to walk without like basically collapsing every 5 seconds. She was okay.
Have you ever been hospitalized for any other trauma to you? Have you ever had any broken bones, broken legs, broken arms, any head injuries?
I've had a concussion or two, but
A concussion? When did you have a concussion?
I was playing football sophomore year.
Do you know about what year that would have been?
And 2013, I was 14.
Okay. Did you go to the hospital at that time?
No.
Were you medically diagnosed with a concussion, or you just know that's what happened?
I was told by my trainer and all doctor that you had a concussion, that I was not going to do anything physical or anything of the sort.
So you had a normal, just general care physician that you went to on a regular basis, and he told you you had a concussion from the... All right. Anything else? Any other head trauma? No. Have you ever been involved in any traffic accidents? No car crashes, nothing like that?
Nothing severe, like fender benders or...
Nothing you had to get transported to the hospital for? I know earlier you said you don't even take any of your prescription, no street drugs, no alcohol. Are you under the influence of anything right now? Totally sober, no alcohol, no drugs? When I first started, you gave me a phone number. Is that your cell phone number? And is that the cell phone number you called 911 from? What type of phone is that? iPhone 8? Does it have a password on it? Or a passcode or any?
1313.
1313 is the numbers? Is that significant to anything? You just like the numbers, or?
And just the old 4 digits, 8-digit password I had as a kid.
I gotcha.
And from my school, it was PCSC 1313, because that was our school name, it was PCSC. Like our initials were PCSC. So then you usually get numbers that go along with whatever your student ID number is.
So was that your student ID number, 1313?
Or like at least part of my number was that.
I gotcha.
And it's just simple and easy to remember, and it's not excessively common for someone to instantly think about, so I just kept it.
All right. Do you, I'm sorry. Do you have any emails? Do you do any email? Or you got an email account? A Google account or something?
I've got a Outlook.
Outlook? What is your email address?
First name, period, last name, @outlook.com.
So it's Stephen dot Xavier
@outlook.com.
Outlook.com. Alright. And you told me you like to play Xbox. Do you do Xbox Live with all the people and the groups and stuff like that? Do you have a gamer tag? What's your gamer tag?
Metal Man Jack.
Metal, METAL, man, M-A-N, Jack, J-A-C-K. No numbers, no nothing. Metal Man Jack. What's that mean to you? Why the name?
I was always weird kid, so I liked history a lot. And when I read much about like American history, and then I started watching TV shows and everything, and I found out that Metal Man is a term for a gunman for hire for like mafias and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff is one of the most common alias names. And I just like this. Chose it. Metalman Jeff. It's just usually the name
It sounds good.
Yeah, I just thought that it was cool.
Have you used any other gamer tags? Was that the only one you ever used?
My mom made one time, but I can't remember what it was.
She made it for you?
I can't remember what it was. I haven't used it in like 8 to 9 years.
Have you had any other phone numbers in the last few years? Or has that been your number for a while?
That's been a number for a while.
No. How about cell phones? Did you just recently get this iPhone 8?
Like last year and a half.
Since you've been here in Florida?
No.
You got that in Indiana? Okay.
We're trying to tell you not want to write this now. His therapist from up there in Plymouth, he's Patrick O'Connell, right? He's a doctor.
I was the counselor when I saw.
Patrick O'Connell. Did he prescribe you any meds?
He talked to doctors and explained like, what he noticed from me. That's it. He didn't.
He was a counselor. Was he associated with the school, or who was he?
They got a hold of him while I was in PhD, so whenever I got out, like.
So it was like extended care. So once you got out of there, he was the outside extended care for you. Okay. Let's see. We talked about a lot of things. And you said you bought the gun from Boom Booms. And you're 21 now. I guess you're old enough to purchase a handgun. When you purchased that gun, did you fill out a background form, either on a computer or a written form? Do you remember if it was a written form or computer? Computer-based? Were you truthful on that form? Did you tell the truth?
For the most part. I didn't say that I'd been administered into a mental treatment center or anything because I tried to leave it in the past. I didn't want to leave it in the past.
Well, do you understand that when you completed that, there was a serious question and I asked you one about mental health? So you lied about that question on the application? Is that it is? See you shaking your head, that make it out. So, and why would you lie about that? Did you do it so that you could unlawfully purchase? Do you know if you answered it yes, did you think if you answered that yes, you would be ineligible for a gun? So you answered it no? Did you think if you answered yes there, it prevents you? Or was there some other reason you were untruthful?
If I answered yes, then they would find out that I been in PhD and then my job, find out that I didn't have a job at the time, I guess, but I figured people around there would figure out that I've been in that type of place and that I no longer get jobs and get treated like I did back in Indiana.
Why did you want to go?
I was always, I hunted while I was in Indiana, I was
Yeah,
there.
that's not hunting gun.
I know.
That's a rifle, so this is something else.
I wanted something that I could go do recreationally as a hobby and do something rather than just sit in my room, because I don't do anything but just sit in my room.
Now, you ever been to a range of that gun? You never fired it, right?
Have you ever completed one of them forms ever before that day? Is that the only one you've ever filled out? So you read through it, you seen the asking about mental health, and you just decided to answer that untruthful. Why did you then buy a vest? What was the reason for buying a
They told me to.
They told you to.
My name told me to buy the vest.
I mean, did they give you a reason? They just say buy a vest? Have you ever had these voices in your head and you not do what they told you to do?
Almost every day.
What happens if you don't do what they tell you to do?
They get louder and louder until it's unbearable.
And then what happens?
Some days I just deal with it. It's a massive headache every day. But some days I can't. It's just too much. And that day was too much.
So voices told you to go buy a vest. They didn't give you no reason, just told you to buy it.
They just kept telling me to buy the vest, buy the vest, buy the vest. Over and over and over and over.
Well, who would have given them the idea about this vest? Did you see it? What planted the idea with the voices that to tell you to buy a vest? I mean, how come they didn't tell you to go buy a car?
I was in a gun store buying a gun. The vest was right in the building, and that was it. I didn't look at it, think about it, noticed it, then I went to go pick up my gun after the 3-day wait.
Where'd you get the money for the gun, the vest, and the ammo and all that stuff?
Job that I had.
You say you saved it up there, it's like sitting at the counter or something?
I made pretty decent money for what I'm used to. And actually the first few months I didn't have any money because I was catching up on bills and helping. And then I eventually started making enough that I had spare. And I had quite a bit of spare after I got the next paycheck, and I had just over $640 some odd dollars worth of money, and I bought myself a pistol. And they told me to buy a pistol, and I didn't think anything of it. The most I thought about it was, oh, better.
You said you wanted to do recreation, so
I wanted it after they mentioned it because I figured that they didn't think it through. I could use it to get some aggravation out, go to the range, and I could shoot at some targets, you know, do some type of like tournament type of stuff where you go out and actually run a course, something to get me focused, or something to get me aggravation out, get me weight off my chest, shoulders, and everything to see maybe that would help. Because whenever I went hunting in Indiana, I went and shot in Indiana, or when I was at basic and I went and shot.
Well, I can tell you what I think, but I think you already know what I think.
Yeah, well, let me ask you just a couple more things. I mean, I appreciate you talking with us, and I appreciate you being honest, but there's some things here that you're not being straightforward with us on, all right? Let's get down to it a little bit. You have these voices in your head, you have an issue, and you've taken yourself off medication, but you're making conscious decisions. You went in that store, and you bought a gun because you wanted to buy a gun. You intentionally went in that store, and you lied on the form just so you could get that gun. Then when you go back, your temptation was there that you went back and you bought a vest because you wanted a vest.
I didn't want a vest.
Then why'd you buy it?
They told me to buy the vest.
Mm-hmm. So then, anyhow, now you have a gun and a vest, right? But a gun that you had to lie about to get. Unfortunately, we've talked to a few people, and do you remember making statements that you would have made a good school shooter in the past? You've told people that you would have been a good school shooter. You ever made that statement to somebody?
I don't remember anything, no.
You don't? Remember earlier I asked you if you talked to anybody outside the bank other than 911 and the sheriff's office? Did you send any text messages to anybody? Tell me about the text messages that you sent to Monty Davis, that you were going to go kill people and kill yourself. What about those messages?
I was just sitting in the car.
So while you were in the car, you knew in your mind what you were going to go do when you walked in that bank. You knew when you got out of that car, you were going in there with a purpose to kill people.
It's contradicted everything you said before that, you realize?
When I got to the bank and they told me to go inside, I figured I was shooting people. I figured I'd kill myself. I figured I'd shoot at people. I figured they'd shoot at me. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I remember sitting in the car. Next thing I know, I'm getting out of the car, I'm walking inside, and then they're telling me to do things that I did. That is all.
Do you know in your text message you didn't tell Amani that the voices told you to go kill people? You told her in your text message you're going to kill people.
You want to text said tonight you were going to die and you were going to take people with you.
I do not remember that.
But it is it.
Is there Amani Davis? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know.
Who is that?
The person I've talked to before.
Would that be considered your girlfriend?
No.
Would she think she's your girlfriend for some reason?
No.
But you're in a relationship enough that you can send her a message telling her you're fixing to kill somebody?
I fell in love with her about a year back, but that is it.
Have you ever met her in person? You know her?
No. Just in person.
How did you meet her?
On a website.
And so you've had phone communications or text communications or FaceTime or something. You've had communications with her.
Yes, but I had not talked to her since I think it was right after I moved down here. We got into a fight, and that was it.
Here's the thing, you're going to do 9 hours on your phone, which will show your communication with her mentioning that.
I kind of skimmed over her earlier, and I'm thinking, but you told me you went into the bank with the vest on. You put it on and you went out. Nobody thought it was funny or odd or suspicious that you walked into a bank with a bulletproof vest on?
And the sweatshirt on.
So it was concealed. So you look like an average person when you walked inside. A normal. Have you ever been to that bank before?
Yes.
So would they recognize you in person, maybe by name? When's the last time you went in that bank prior to today?
The last Friday, because I got my last check from my job, and the bank was closed.
He's been in there 2 times overall, I think what he said.
So you went into that bank last Friday? Did you cash a check or deposit it?
I deposited.
Yeah.
I went to the other bank on Friday. It was Saturday. It was closed. And I went to withdraw some to give my mom $600 because I was paying her for the month, $400 for the car, $200 worth of food, and I said that's really all I can do. I don't have much before I find another job. So it makes more money.
So when you went into the South branch, the bank you're at today, you physically went inside or you went through the drive-thru?
I went inside and I withdrew $600.
All right. How was that experience? Was it good?
Yeah.
Did they treat you well?
Yes, it was perfectly fine. No problem.
So why would you go back and kill them women if they treated you so well?
I didn't. I wasn't trying to go back.
You left your house with a bulletproof vest on, a gun in your pocket, and a plan to go kill them.
I had a plan. I had a plan to drive.
You had a cell phone on you?
Yes.
You remember when you called the suicide hotline when you were 15 years old?
Yes.
How come you didn't call today? How come you didn't call 911 for help?
I don't know. I thought that it'd be any other day where it's drive or get my mind focused and that I'd be okay. I didn't. I went back. I put me back in the hospital. I didn't want people to know that I'm not normal.
So this is how you end up in a hospital? You go kill people?
No. No. No, I didn't.
So why did you kill them?
The voices in my head told me.
Let's get over the voices.
I don't know what else I can say about that then.
You are old enough and wise enough to know you have voices. You know how to control them. You know how to keep them at bay, and you know what they do to you.
Sometimes, yes.
You're smart enough to know how to get help. You've got help in the past. You called a hotline. You've got help. But today you didn't want help.
No, today I didn't know that I...
Did you want to be on the news?
No.
Did you do it for some type of publicity?
No, I swear.
You told somebody you would make a good school shooter. Is that what you want?
I don't remember saying that.
You said the text before, so So at some point you knew that something was wrong.
Like what text?
To Miss Davis. You told her you were going to kill people and kill yourself. You knew something was
I
wrong.
don't remember sending any texts.
Yeah,
I promise, I can understand if it exists. I promise I remember being in my car, listening to them scream at me to go inside, and I just sat there and just kept trying to focus on anything else. And then I remember getting out of the car and walking inside and doing what I did.
You remember it all, just fine. I think you had decided. Did you dress like this for the occasion?
No.
What's your shirt say?
I've had that since I got out of basic.
I mean, what's it mean?
I don't know, I just like the shirt. I've always been a...
Did you plan your wardrobe before you went today? No.
I'm serious, you could ask anybody, this is my favorite shirt. I always try to wear it whenever I do anything. This is my favorite shirt. And these shorts just happen to be clean and look decent. I didn't want to wear athletic shorts. So I wore these, and that was the last thing. I just threw on what clothes I thought would look decent. I liked this shirt, and these shorts were clean, and were athletic shorts, and that's it. It's all.
Why'd you put the sweater over the vest?
Because they told me to.
They told you to?
Yes.
Why would they tell you to?
I don't know. I don't know what they want. I don't know what they do. All I know is that they like to make my life hell.
You understand that as this man peels back the layers of your life, social media and messages and everything, he's gonna see and understand everything you said. Everything you thought that was private up until today, when everything that you have is now public.
I understand that, but I don't remember sending a message to Mommy. I don't remember saying that I'm a good school shooter. I don't remember doing any of that.
But you remember what you did today?
Yes. And I'm not happy at what I did. I hate myself for it. But to go back, I told them, and I'll tell you, and I'll tell anybody, that I wish I'd just given her the gun. Because if nothing else, she'd have called the cops. If nothing else, and I came at her with my knife.
Do you understand you could have done anything else and had a different result? Do you know that you didn't have to follow the bank, you didn't have to get in the car, you didn't have to buy the gun, you didn't have to buy the vest, you didn't have to put it on? Did the voices load the gun for you too? Do you understand you loaded it?
Yes.
You knew you were loaded? You were loading it for a purpose.
I didn't load it today.
But you loaded it. If you were trying to fight these voices, and you, like you said before, that you try and fight them or trip them up or outsmart them, that you could have taken other measures other than planning this out?
I didn't think. I was trying to think. I didn't think. I thought that going for a drive would help. It's helped before.
Did you ever think about that cell phone in your pocket would help?
No, I didn't, because I don't talk to people. I am alone in my room with the occasional person on my Xbox that I talk to play a game with. That is it. And they'll call and say that I'm their friend. I don't feel like I'm their friend. I don't feel like I'm anybody's friend. I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. To me, I don't fit in anywhere. I still think that I should have died that day while I was standing on the roof with a rope around my neck. But I didn't. I called hotline, and here I am. I wish that I drank weed killer when someone handed it to me. I wish that I shot myself when I had the chance. I wish that I shot myself before I went to the bank thing. Times they kept telling me to take that gun, or when they were planning on making me use that gun for something bad, I wanted to shoot myself. Every night since I got that gun, I try to either shoot myself and just end it so the voices stop, or go to a range place on ammunition, which I physically have nothing I can do with that gun.
Well, you could have done anything. You could have put it on. You could have thrown it in the lake. You could have returned it to the store. You could have done anything but what you did.
You couldn't kill yourself, but you could kill others.
I swear I did not. I don't remember sending any messages. I don't remember saying any of this. I'm sorry that I don't.
But regardless whether you remember or not, it's going to be there. It's going to be uncovered. And he's got it. He's going to get more.
I would try to shoot myself to
If this
death.
was just a time you had and you can't understand it, at least let this man go to work for you and try to help you understand it.
I don't know what, I swear, I promise, I don't remember saying that to her. I don't remember sending any
Okay,
messages.
let's forget about the messages for a minute. Why did you kill the women today?
Because the voices in my head told me to. And that is it.
What are
They told me to do it, and they kept getting louder. It got unbearable, and I eventually did it. Do I wish that I hadn't? Do I wish I'd done literally anything else? I wish I'd just taken the gun off. So I'd never lied on that. So I'd never lied on anything to have ever made it look like I never went there. Yes. Do I wish that I'd just talked to somebody? Yes. I don't want to hurt people. I don't like hurting people. I know. I know.
What are the voices talking to you now?
Yeah.
What are they saying now?
Stop telling them anything. Stop giving you guys anything. Don't say anything. Why didn't you shoot yourself? Why didn't you keep fighting? Why didn't you shoot at the officer? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you drive your car in the building? Why didn't you tell yourself those years back? Why didn't you do this? Get up and fight someone now. Do this, do that. Bash your head against the wall.
But you're able to, I mean, while we're sitting here, you're able to keep them at bay.
They're not that loud right now. I'm cold to people. I don't like people because I've been bullied all my life. I've had voices that tell me the little things to people. I try to avoid people. I don't like people because the second that I like people, it seems like my voices like to make me hurt them emotionally. And I don't like hurting people in general. I don't like hurting people anyways. In any means, I promise. I don't like hurting people. Have I been in 2 fights? Yes. I can tell you exactly when they happened. I can tell you exactly why they happened. I can tell you that I wanted to hurt people, that I wanted to hit people, but I've never done any of it. I've understood from the day that I was taught, doing stuff like that is bad. You don't do bad things. Because at the end of the day, bad people are punished because of things they do.
Yeah, despite all that, you did this today.
You avoided fighting somebody. You avoided beating up on people because you don't like hurt them. How come you couldn't avoid this?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I don't know why today was any different. I can't explain it. I wish that I could. I wish I could tell you why I did what I did, other than they told me to. That feels like the simplest and most idiotic excuse to me.
Where do you think you have somebody that did this?
They should be euthanized. They should be buried in the prisons. Parents should be able to come in and beat you to death, in my mind. You're taking away their loved ones, taking away their mother, their daughter, sons depending on it. I understand what I did, and I resent myself for it. I hate myself for this. I don't get why I can't just shoot myself in the goddamn head. I was sitting there. I had a chance to. My finger was on the trigger. It was against my head. I shot it already. I figured out I could do that. Why could I not shoot myself? Why could I not drink any of the stuff? I've tried to kill myself more times than I tell most people. I've taken medication that I was handed, that I was prescribed, taken 3 months of it. I didn't keep any of it. I couldn't die from that. I tried hanging myself, and I broke the line. I broke the rope that I was using. I didn't die. I wanted to. I tried, and I want to die. Today, I really want to die. I wish that I could go to parents, even the people that I had killed today. I wish that they'd come and just do what I did to them to me. I wish that I could go back and change it.
I don't think you really want to.
I do.
You have how many chances? You have a loaded gun. I mean,
I don't know why I can't kill myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
it's all self-preservation, bro.
I don't want to live. I had, the entire time I was talking to Chris, the only thought that was in my head is to shoot myself, and since I can't seem to do that,
I wanted to walk out and have the officer shoot me. I wanted them to shoot me.
Or Chris?
Yes, the officer.
Oh.
I was talking to Chris on the phone. And the entire time, that's all I wanted was either shoot myself or walk out so they could be about it. See, like I couldn't do it. I wish right now, I swear, if you guys had a gun, if you guys had any means to kill me right now, just kill me against the wall, please.
Oh, you want it? I don't think that's what you want.
I don't want to hurt people. I don't.
Yeah, and you sure told the voices to go fuck themselves.
I did. I told them all day, every day. I don't know why it feels any different. I don't know why they push so damn hard.
You're right, yeah. That's right. Say right.
I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I wish I was dead right now instead of them. I wish I could go back and take everything back, but I can't. As much as I wish and plead and ask and promise and beg, it's not going to change it, and I wish that I could. But again, it doesn't matter. Wishes could be, I can't really say. I don't know what I can say. I don't know what I can do. I wish that I could take it back.
I wish you could too.
And I'll pay for it for however long I live, if that's until they kill me or until I kill myself, until someone else kills me. I don't care. The fact remains is until the day I die, I don't have to live with the fact that I killed people, and I don't like myself any more, any less. I hated myself since I was 9 years old. I've had the voice since I was 11 under other people instead of just hurting myself. I wish to God that I could have just died. However many fucking times I had a chance.
Yeah, everything you did points to you systematically leading up to today. You're not going to go to a gun range and practice like you say you want to do as a hobby. You bought it. You bought some ammo. You bought the vest. You didn't buy the vest for home protection. It didn't come in that vest. So nobody could see what you were wearing under it. That's smart.
I didn't
get it come. Systematic.
I don't want to kill people. They tell me to kill people. I don't want to kill people. I was on a farm like this for so long.
I'm confused.
No, I haven't.
Many, many times.
I don't know. I don't.
I'm telling you a lot.
I close my eyes, I see them, and I don't want to see them. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to. Maybe I do deserve this.
At any point, you could have adjusted your aim. You could have missed. You could have not fired. You could have done anything. You took aim and aimed and intentionally pulled the trigger with the intent to kill. You said you continued shooting until you thought they were dead.
They wouldn't stop until that moment that I thought they were dead. The second that I thought they were dead, that was it. The voices in my head came to a stop. And then I got to see what I just did. Everything from the moment that I walked in there, it doesn't feel like it happened. I know it happened, trust me, I know. I've relived it since the instant that I even walked into that. I will do, say, not say anything to prove and try to help you to understand and continue to, I don't want to say persuade because I'm not trying to persuade you. I know I did a horrible thing. I'm never going to say that I didn't. I killed potentially 5 people. I don't know if they're all dead right now.
Yeah, they're dead. All of them.
I hoped someone who does this will never like to hope.
I hoped that the breathing I heard as I walked in that back room trying to get away, to not repeat, and to just end it so that you guys could get there and save me. Because the second that I heard their breathing, I got up and I walked to that back room. I wanted to be away from it. I wanted to be as far away from it as possible.
You know all five of them were breathing perfectly fine before you walked into the bank?
Yes, I do.
You know the reason they're not breathing now?
I mean,
And that's the only reason.
yeah, I know. I'll get myself for it. I wish I'd done anything else. I know that I didn't. I know it was my will that was at test. That should have been what I should have done. Not could have. It should have been what I did. There's literally any excuse you guys said. And even to the point where I shouldn't have even lied on the phone to begin with. I shouldn't have done any of it. I shouldn't have gone to the store. I shouldn't have listened to the voice. I shouldn't even give them the chance to persuade me, to push me to go to that store, to do anything that they tell me to drive anywhere, to get in, put on a vest, buy ammo, buy the gun in general. And I get that that is my fault. And I get that there's nothing I can say or do to make it any less of a crime, as bad as it is. I understand.
Let me ask you, you say while you're in the bank, the voices were yelling at you and stuff. You're able to carry on a conversation with these ladies while the voices are going? So you can talk more, you can communicate, and you gather them up at the wall. And then for some reason you didn't have to stand up. Why did you lay them down? Why did you want them laying down?
I don't know. I wasn't going to get away, that's what he did.
You know, because they want to look at you. You don't want to look them in the face. You're not man enough to look them in the face.
I don't know why I told him to look away. I don't know why I told him to lie down. That is what I was told to do.
Because you're innocent people.
Systematic. For that whole thing about me, I was saying.
I promise I was playing. I did not plan on going to kill people today. I did not plan on walking in and telling them to do anything.
So, but the voices yelling, how did you feel? What did you feel inside you? How did you feel during this? Were you sad, excited? What did you feel like?
I thought I was going to throw up.
You felt sick? Did you throw up? What else were you feeling? How were you feeling?
Anger at myself. Hatred at myself for letting myself be pushed around. For letting what feels like imaginary voices in my head telling me to do things, that I would let something that doesn't exist tell me what to do. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how to explain what they do. They just keep telling me to do something.
Well, were you, back again, were you happy, sad?
No.
Were you crying?
I was sad.
What emotions did you feel?
I was sad, angry at myself. I was angry at myself. I was sad for everything I had done. I was sad as I was doing that to them, as I was shooting them. I will not act like I didn't do that. I shot them. And I hate that I did. I shouldn't have done any of this. And I don't know why I did. But I did. And the entire time that I was doing it, I felt like I was going to collapse. I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like I was the worst human, the worst person, the worst thing that could possibly be, the worst thing that could ever exist. The fact that I'm taking innocent lives for no apparent reason. That I'm just doing this on blind following. Of being told to do something so much and so loud that you just do it. And I don't know. I don't know what to say or think or do. I can't unsee what I did, and I don't feel like I should unsee what I did. I deserve to have to rewatch that and relive that for the rest of every instant of every life. I did something horrible, and I deserve to be punished for it. I understand that. I knew that I deserved to be punished the instant that it happened.
I just asked him if they were speaking to him as we're speaking.
And I promised.
And he's really good to hear, and they're carrying on with him, and he's able to function as a normal person and can see what they're talking about. That while they're going on in the background there. But he said they're not very loud right now. They're easy to control them.
Selective volume. It's not selective volume. I don't choose how loud they are. As of right now, I don't know. Maybe they're getting a kick out of this, seeing me struggle, seeing me deal with this. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning between why they're being quiet, why they get loud, why they want me to do bad things, why they want me to do anything. I don't know. They tell me to do something every second of every minute of every day. And I, for the most part, can usually run with thinking on little to no function. I try to not think. I try to just focus on what's in front of me and deal with what is happening. I try not to let them get to me. Other days, they get loud, they get even harder to not focus on. It's hard not to focus on someone screaming right next to you. You hear it, you feel it. And it's as if they're all standing in a circle around me, berating me with these ideas that usually you just stop listening to. You just not focus. You distance, go off into nothingness. And I try that. I usually, that's how I focus every day, is on nothing. I just don't focus. And do nothing. Or I listen to music so it gets me focused on just the music, or just the game, or just the book. I don't focus on anything else when I do those things. Or I'm focused on nothing.
You're on your game today. To refocus yourself.
I was. I was on my game today. And then they started getting too loud.
You put your vest on, you put your shirt over it.
No, they got loud. And I sat there for a while.
So you refocus yourself.
I was trying to refocus myself. And I kept getting louder. So I figured, okay, maybe I'll go to the bathroom, I'll go shower, I'll do something to, not focus, but to kind of like relax myself. Showers usually tend to relax people. I figured that out. I try to do that. I usually stand in the shower for a long time, either the cold or hot water, and just focus on the water.
Where do you want to step at today? You said you're on a trip.
My mother has to go to Illinois for something for work.
What does she do for work?
What?
What does she do for work?
It has Creative Photos Inc. They repair seats and flooring and stuff.
Upholstery and stuff.
Yeah.
What about your stepdad?
I don't think he works.
You have a brother. Older, you know?
Yeah. All my siblings.
Where's he at?
Indiana.
Well, if he didn't come down to stay with your biological dad. All right. What kind of relationship you have with your father?
Not a good one.
Doesn't get along with the business, don't really do any of that stuff, or
No.
what does he do for a living?
Right now, he's like a transport company. Like he drives trailers with
Stuff, that type of stuff, or does he work for a company, or does he freelance?
I think he works for a company, but he might be freelance. I don't know. I didn't talk to him. We don't have a very good relationship.
What relationship you have with your brother? Not much.
I don't like people. I don't really like being around my family too much because of everything that I hear every day. They tell me to hurt my own family, and I try to distance myself.
You like your mom?
I don't dislike her. I don't like her. I try.
You exist.
I don't want to, but yes.
What about stepdad? How you feel about him?
I don't like him. So same as my dad.
Yes.
I mean, he's probably worse than my dad.
Can you tell me what you did?
What? What he does? He doesn't work.
Wow. Ever or just right now?
He's had jobs before, but
I see. I see. Truthfully, I don't know how to make this better. I don't think there's any way to make it better.
there's no way to make it better. I know that. I did something horrible. It's like the worst thing I can do.
I'll agree to that, yeah.
And I'm not going to deny it. I know what I did. I know that I did that. And I'm never going to live it down. Anytime anyone hears my name for the rest of time, they're going to know that I killed 5 people today.
That is true, too. Yes.
And it's not like they were people that did me wrong. They were purely innocent that I don't even know.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know that's horrible. I know that it sounds cold that I've got what feels like no emotions coming out with it. I don't mean for it to be like that. That's just the way that I run. I try to stay emotionless with people. Today, the last 2.5, 3 hours, I've not been able to stay emotionless. I've been bawling my eyes out every time I even think about it. I can't cry right now. I don't know why, but I can't. I've been sitting here for the last hour. I was talking to you guys, and for the longest time I was bawling, snot running everywhere, because I am really sad. I hate myself for what I've done. I hated myself anyways, but now there's a reason behind me hating myself. I just killed 5 people, and nothing I do is ever going to live that down. I could be Saint George himself, Saint anybody, and do anything. I could save Jesus, the second coming, any amount of times, and it still wouldn't bring the fact of I killed 5 people. No amount of good is ever going to counteract killing somebody. And I did it 5 times.
Everyone's feeling their pain is over, they don't feel anything, but they have a family
And they're going to feel it. And I wish I could say that I could take that from them. I can't take that from them. Nothing's going to replace that pain. That pain's going to be there forever. Because they didn't die of natural causes, and even then they still have pain. I took that. And it's wrong. Horribly wrong. And I understand that it seems like I systematically went about it and did things in a manner that I planned. And I get that. But I didn't plan it. I swear. I never planned it. The most thing that I planned once I was in my car is, it's like the time in Indiana my dad kicked me out. I will drive and just keep driving. And just try to not focus on anything besides the road in front of me.
Let me ask you this. Because as Detective Reinhardt goes on, he trusts when I say this, because I've done many investigations myself. And you peel back the layers of people's lives, all their social media, what they do on Facebook, what they do on Instagram, what they do on Snapchat, what they do, everything. Pratz, I can run through so many damn apps and social media and phone messages, text messages, cell phones, your Xbox, everything is going to be dissected. Real notion about your life that I swear you don't even know about your life, right? And that's what I was telling you earlier when it comes to finding a lot of messages. Sometimes messages you get from other pictures with ideologies about doing certain things that you don't even remember you did, right? Or shit, I forgot that X amount of years I downloaded that thing about Columbine or some shit like that, right?
And
I get my point before I forget, you know. And they're gonna find stuff like this, right? If and when you find certain messages about going out and doing shootings, or maybe it's a good day for that, why do you think you wouldn't remember that? Because they're gonna be there, you know what I mean? They're gonna be there between you and people you know, sent from your devices, from you. Why do you think you wouldn't remember that?
I don't know.
I understand that because you have an excellent memory for everything else. You know,
It's semi-selective, and I don't mean that like I get to choose exactly what memories I remember, what I don't. It's ones that stick out to me, ones that had a big purpose behind it, something that happened that was big that I shouldn't be able to forget. I can't.
If and when you find these types of messages, emails, texts, whatever.
If I were around swear, I will tell you.
But besides all that, if they're sent from your device, if they're sent from your accounts, who else would have sent them besides you?
I don't know.
Would there have been anybody that has access to your devices? Codes for your
I mean, I've had old, like, email accounts that have been broken into, but that was...
Old, when you say old, you mean what?
Like 6, 7 years plus.
That's pretty old, yeah, that's pretty old.
I've had that email for like probably 5 or 6 years. I've not changed it, it's not been any different, I've had it.
To avoid a guy in case he does RP forensics and they use certain devices that I'm not even going to mention.
Yeah.
To do forensics, but to avoid destroying your phone, because I found out destroying any property. What is the passcode to get on your phone?
1313.
1313? Unlucky.
1313 was just my old, well, just PCSC 1313. It was my password for my school, and it was just a simple 4-digit number that I could remember.
That's for him to avoid doing the chip off. He's got break the phone.
And I believe I told him that too, but I'll tell you any amount of times, I'll tell you anything you want or need to know.
No, I appreciate that, and like I said, we try not to destroy property if we don't have to.
And
I truly mean that because a lot of people are actually very surprised to find out they don't think we'll find certain things or meet certain people from the past, stuff like that. So if there's any point in time that you remember telling people, well, having these fantasies.
now, I will say that when I was dating my ex, I can tell you her exact name, Alex Gerlach. I can spell it for you. Yes, I can spell it for you if you need to. I don't sure
what the high spell Gerlach.
Gerlach.
Okay, what about her?
She, like, whenever I get jealous, I told you I'm in homicidal ideation. That's what I told the doctors too. In reality, it was really that I had voices in my head telling me to do these things, and that's what the ideation was, that they kept telling me to do it. And that whenever I would get jealous, I threatened to beat people up, to beat them, like to, say, don't get anyone near my girlfriend, don't get near the people I love, because I don't have the luxury of being close to people, because every time I feel like I'm getting close to someone, they start going about things. And I don't like hurting people.
Well, did you tell Alex something in particular? Is that what you mentioned?
Yes, when we were like roughly first started dating, and we met in Berryville Health Center, so it wasn't probably a good
place to meet.
No.
How long ago was this, roughly?
It was when I was 15 or 16. It was like fresh out of BAC. We met in BAC. And one of her friends kissed her. And I didn't like that. I don't like people that I care about like that. They're loved ones to me. Having someone get in the middle of it.
Right.
So I mentioned, like, I will beat his ass. I will fuck him up. And it scared her because I got angry, I got loud, what sounded like
You kind of like to kill him, like take him off the planet. What is that we're talking about? I mean, is that the truth?
Yes, and I said that, if he tries something like that and steals you from me, I will kill him. But I did not mean that I will kill him.
The only reason I'm saying that is,
yes.
Are you mentioning that because eventually we may find Alex?
You guys are mentioning that I sent a message to Mike. So from her sending that message, I can promise I can just where I promise. I understand. And if it's where
hear that name, then
I promise if that's there, I don't know how it got that. I don't know when I would have sent it. I don't I don't know. I didn't send any messages to anybody today. I remember being in my room, waking up from my dream, which I told you is a scorpion. Which was stinging me, but and there was no recollection about anything, was it? I just reached over to grab my controller, I had just woken up for the day, and a scorpion stung me, and then I woke up and that was that. And then I played games, listened to music, and my buddy got off. And then I played games with him for an hour or two, and then I told him that I had to go. And that was when they started getting loud, and I was trying to focus, trying to get my mind off of everything.
Right.
And then I tried to take a shower to calm them down, because they were getting louder and more violent what they were telling me to do. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to try, drinking some more water, drinking some like ice cold water, something to try to calm me down. Something simple, but something that's there that I have available. And I even considered taking Tylenol, but I just woken up. And I was like, I need taking something to go to sleep. That's for the night time when I just woke up, probably not the best idea. Wish I had now, but...
You do understand it's a really big leap going from some entity, some voice, or whatever,
yes,
telling you to jump off something, to do something to yourself, to slap somebody,
to kill somebody, yes.
and to doing what happened today,
Yes.
in the way it happened today. You understand it's a really big leap, right?
Yes, and
Well, put it like this, if you were somebody like us, what would you think?
sitting across, like imagine me in your chair right now staring at somebody doing this, I wouldn't understand the voices in his head, but at the same time, everything fits too well. It doesn't make sense. And I get that. And I understand that that's the way it works. But I promise I did not plan to do any of this today. I did not plan on hurting anybody today. I didn't even plan, at the most that I thought that I would do today is drive. Or maybe shoot myself and go to grab my gun.
Why do you think you're walking?
Your Honor, it's about 10 minutes to 5. There's about, well, that can be more exact, actually. There's 47 minutes left. We did sort of structure that we would be working a work day for the jury from 8 to 5, and there's some depositions that we need to take care of yet this evening. So if we could recess for the day, we'd prefer it if the court would allow.
We'll recess for the evening, that's fine with the court. And I would remind you all, do not do any investigation on your own. Go have a good evening, do not watch the news, listen to the radio, and don't read your newspaper. We have a big stack of newspapers that you can catch up on in a few weeks, but not tonight. Please, have a good evening. You all are excused, please follow the bailiff's instructions. And reconvene tomorrow morning as he directs. Thank you. Is there anything from the state?
Nothing from the state. Obviously, our witness will remain on the stand. He will not be able to discuss the case. I think you gave him that advice earlier, and that remains.
Absolutely. When you go this evening, go about your business, but you may not discuss anything to do with this case with anyone outside the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there anything
That's
else?
all I have.
Anything from defense before we close out for the evening? Thank you. We'll go in recess.
Thank you.